Hi everyone, Martin here from martinsmayhem.blogspot.com. I hope you are well. So today's card is a super fun watercoloured background card using the Butterfly Gala stamp set, and it's super cute. We're just using this butterfly stamp here, which I've cut and created two separate ones, but it could quite easily be replaced with any of the butterflies or solid images. It's completely up to you. So let's put that to one side and move this over. So I'm starting with a card base of Whisper White, and that's just standard 4x4, and a piece of watercolour paper that Stampin Up provides, and this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and that's just so that mats beautifully onto our card base like so. Right, shall we get started? So, I'm saying so a lot, but hey ho. I'm using 4 colours, which are available in the Brights collection, and that's Granny Apple Green, Melon Mambo, Pacific Point, and Gorgeous Grape. So these 4 colours, I have already grabbed my largest clear block, which is an F, and just placed the ink on top, like so. And what I've done, if I do it this way, is I've done it in the same order in which I want it to be on my card, just so I know blue is going to be next to green, Granny Apple Green and Gorgeous Grape, Melon Mambo is going to be next to Gorgeous Grape and Granny Apple Green, and vice versa. So I'm just going to go a little bit crazy, and I suggest you do as well. However, the trick is to know when to stop, because you can quite easily make the colours go a bit muddy, which they did between the Melon Mambo and Granny Apple Green, which is why I put the sentiment there. But hey ho, hopefully it won't go muddy this time, and it'll be perfect. But if not, stick the sentiment wherever it goes muddy. Just try to make the blend between the two harmonising colours. Okay, so let's get started. I ended on Melon Mambo last time. However, I think this time I'm going to start with that one, just because that's the brightest colour. I have got handy some tissue paper, well, toilet paper, just so I can clean my aqua painter off when I'm ready. So if I just pick up the ink like so, and then all I'm going to do is rub it on, so simply, like so. Now you want to keep this rather saturated with ink along the edges, and this just allows you to blend the colour better. So I'm just cleaning off my aqua painter very quickly. So that's the bottom corner, and I'm going to pick up the Gorgeous Grape, and again I'm going to work from the corner inwards, like so. And the reason why we keep it saturated is so that the colour blends together and we get that nice soft fade. But at the same time, you want to try and keep the intensity of the colour of the Gorgeous Grape. So if it does look a bit soft, you can go back in, add a little more, like so. So I'm just going to clean that off, like so. And I'm going to work round now to Pacific Point, and again from the corner, bringing it outwards, like so. Bringing it down. Now the reason why I chose these colours was just because they were so bright and so intense that I knew it would stand out. So don't be scared as well, just go back in with your other colours just to make that blend perfect. And if you do have too much ink somewhere, just go back in with a piece of tissue, dab it down, and you can pick it up. So in this corner, just pick some ink up from there. And then onto the final colour, which I'm just going to turn this round again, Granny Apple Green. And I'm just going to lay this down like so. So you can see that blue is running a little bit too much for my liking. So I'm just going to come back in, move that colour over, bringing in the green and trying to blend out that line between the pink and the Granny Apple, which I've probably left it a little bit too long, but hey ho, it's okay, because guess what, this is where our sentiment's going to go. And there you have it. So all I'm going to do, again with some tissue, just pick up some of that ink that has, I refer to it as balling, so the ink's balled. Okay, that's clean. Just quickly tidy it, throw that in the bin, and you are going to get messy, but that's fine. And there you have the cute background. Oh god, put that there, like so. Let's move that out of the way again so you don't get inky fingers. And I'm going to quickly blast this with my heat tool, and that's just going to allow me to carry on with the card a little bit quicker. So once that's dry, let's give it a quick feel. Still a little bit wet. Now you want this to be completely dry before you do any embossing, and the reason for that is the embossing powder will stick to it. So if you can leave this overnight or maybe for a couple of hours, I do recommend it, but I'm just going to go back in with my heat tool. And there you have it. So I'm going to have it that way. So that's now completely dry, as you can see. I'm just going to give it a quick bend, like so, and that's just going to help flatten it slightly. You could always take this down and then cut it down, but I don't particularly like to do that because you could get lines, and I wanted it to keep it quite free flowing. So as we're going to be doing some heat embossing, I am just going to lay down my embossing buddy, just swiping it over, being careful of where my fingers are. And then I'm taking the 2 butterfly stamps, which I have here, and my Versamark ink, and I'm just going to randomly stamp these down. So because it is watercolour paper, I am making sure I have plenty of ink on my stamp before stamping, and the reason for that is because it's textured, so you want to make sure that stamp is getting a very good impression first time. You could always use your stamp apparatus with this, however I personally found it could become quite rigid in your design, so I prefer not to. So I can, if I tilt it towards the light, I can see where I've stamped that, and I'm just going to go into the kind of empty areas and stamp it again with the smaller one. This is just going to fill out that empty space. Like so. So you probably can't see any of that on the camera, but you will as soon as I sprinkle over the embossing powder. Like so. Right, so you can see there's a couple of areas in which are still a little bit wet. So I am just going to grab my brush, wherever it has gone. There it is. So grab my brush, and before I heat set it, I'm just going to knock off some of these areas. Like so. Other than that, oh, there. Like so. Do you see that? So all I'm going to do now is just quickly heat set this again. Bear with. So now that's all heat embossed like so. You can see that it really stands out. So you could always heat emboss this in clear beforehand or in white beforehand and then do your ink in. However, I much prefer the vibrancy of the heat embossing powder after rather than before. So try it both ways, see which one you prefer. However, I know I personally prefer it this way. So I can just flip that over and grab my dimensionals. Oh, they're mini ones. I don't want mini ones. Where are my dimensionals? Here we go. And all I'm going to do is pile on some dimensionals onto the back. Like so. Now I'm being quite liberal, as I'm sure you'll agree, with my dimensionals. But 4 would do, 5 would do, 100 would also do. It's completely personal. However, I want this nice and secured onto my card. So done, 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 done. So, and then I'm just going to line that up and put that down. Easy, right? So with the sentiment, I have taken, let's move my chair out of the way, the stamp set, the good things in life are better with you, and I've just heat set that, as you've seen so much heat embossing today, on basic black, and just cut that at an angle. I'm just going to line that up with the edge of my card, like so. Embossing powder everywhere. And then just to finish it off, I'm going to grab some medium size rhinestones. Let's grab. Just place these randomly around. Oh, that's a small one. 3, 4, 5. 6. And there you have today's card. I hope you enjoyed today's card. While you're here, why not pop into the description bar below, where a full list of the items used are available, as well as links to my online shop for you to purchase them for yourself. While you're there, like, comment and subscribe, and why not share to your social media so everybody can see how super quick and easy, or how super easy, not necessarily quick, this card is. I will see you around. Bye!